Welcome back to our coverage of the European Beach Ultimate Championships 2019 here in Portimao, Spain. Bringing you the Men's Masters bronze medal match between the Czech Republic and Spain in the broadcast booth for this one. A combination that Tom Stiles described as a dream team. Not exactly sure what kind of dreams Tom Stiles is having, but Benjamin Rees alongside the wonderful Sean Colfer for this game.
Morning, Benji. Looking forward to this one. Should be a good game.
I think it should be pretty tight. Now, we haven't really seen you in the booth so far this week, so what have you been doing so far this tournament?
So far, myself and Maya, both from the show game, have been covering the whole tournament. So we've been looking at games across all the divisions, writing summaries of the days, writing game reviews, pieces about particular people, just trying to give as much colour as we can to the people following the tournament from back home.
So France are going to initiate here, starting on offense, wearing those white jerseys with the red shorts. Doing a pretty effective job of initiating the possession here. Kyla looking into the middle. Couldn't find number 7, Steven Koschener. So number 9 for the Czechs, František Frenkel. Fabian Fensel takes the backhand, looks downfield now. He's going to shoot deep. There's a player wide open in the end zone. Number 71, Lukáš Karasek for the goal for the Czechs. They're going to break to start this game 1-0. Good stuff there from the Czech Republic D-line.
That was really nice. It's a bit windy. It's definitely windier now than it has been earlier in the day. And that flick huck was really nice, right on point. I'm not sure what happened with the French D though. It looked like a miscommunication. Someone was left about 10 yards free in the end zone. It's not what you want on the first point, Benji. It's
a less than ideal strategy, and just see how teams adjust. The bronze medal match is kind of the match you don't want to. It's obviously a match you don't want to be in. It's always nice to have a chance of silverware or bronzeware at least, but obviously you'd much rather be in the final. And both sides have been disappointed. The French hadn't lost all tournament. They even beat the heavily favoured coming into this tournament Swedes 8-6, and just went down to in a bit of a shock loss to the Spaniards 9-13 in the first semi-final, whereas the Czech Republic lost in universe to Germany at the very start of the tournament and won every game since until they came against the juggernaut Swedes, firing on all cylinders in their semi-final. A 13-7 loss was the result there. We're going to see the French O-line come back out now. Big ball from Fensel. Pla looks downfield, he finds Nicolas. Nicolas centers to Pla. Goes to the floor, but does keep that in his grasp. There's an underneath going. Czechs try a switch, but it leaves a player blown open wide deep. Nice laying out grab there from the French. Takes the dump off, and now they're trying to flow it into the end zone. And great play from the French for the score. It's the number 99 shirt, Théophile Baudin, with the goal.
There's another really nice point. I think we saw there a typical beach trope. The I've just been beaten deep. I'll take your man. Please bail me out. You've seen it across the tournament all week. That was a very late switch, leaving the French player wide open. It was a nice grab though. Throw just a little bit out of his reach. Good point, taking what they're given there.
It's one of those things on beach where we saw in the first men's semi-final yesterday, Spain obviously incredibly athletic on the sand, but part of the reason they seem to have so much more energy at the end of games is because they switch effectively, they spot it early, and they communicate really well when these switches are going on. And that time, the Czech players obviously didn't pick up some sort of signal, and it left that blown coverage deep.
The key thing is recognising it early, Benji. It's such a difference. Like you say, the Spanish are brilliant at it.
Here's Tomáš Veselý. It looks like downfield. Gonna shoot deep. Number 24, Jaromír Kubek is under it, and he makes a fantastic grab for the Czechs. Lovely throw. The defender did not have a shot at that, and the Czechs retake the lead at 2-1.
That was a great throw. Really nice, quick offense from the Czechs. Looks like their long game is what they're going to be relying on. Luckily for them, it looks like it's working pretty well at the moment.
Yeah, the wind's been pretty strong at points this week. It's picked up a little bit from this morning when it was completely still, but against throwers of this quality, and one of the things about the Masters division is that there's a wealth of experience across the entire squad. Everyone's comfortable with the disc in their hands, and we see it there with that wonderful shot deep. So 2-1 to the Czech Republic, the current scoreline. Breaking on that first point, and we've only seen the one turnover so far this game. Relatively high quality play to begin the bronze medal match. Big banana blading pull from the Czechs. Come underneath with Hervé. He finds Olivier. Emerick Olivier. Upfield to Gleisel. Dump to Kyler. Kyler. Now in the hands of Julien Hervé. Hervé finds a nice underneath Olivier. French was doing a nice job of resetting it and just taking a few yards on unders. Oh, look at that, over the top, upside down throw from the French.
That was a really nice scuba. I think we're seeing, like you said earlier, with the throwing ability on both teams, offenses are really on top here. The only turnovers we've seen is a throwaway. We haven't actually seen anyone get close on D as yet. But when you've got throws like that, it's really tough to get tight on D.
We're going to have another look at it here from the low angle on the replay. See him look downfield, just flip that disc over in the hand and pop that sultry scuba over the top into the hands of number 9, Christophe Lorino.
Yeah, really nice throw. Looks like both teams are going to get a little bit creative here.
And that's what you like to see in a bronze medal match, where obviously it's not necessarily the match you want to be in, you come for the gold, but now with a bit of a crowd beginning to fill the stands on the boardwalk as players wrap up their weeks, good to see these players put on a little bit of a show and play to the crowd ever so slightly.
Definitely, that's what we want. Showmanship. Showmanship is the key aspect of any good beach player.
It's definitely a format of the game that lends itself to a little bit of style, isn't it?
Particularly when no one can run.
Looking pretty fast across the sand. That undercut from Marek Kolitsky. Dumps back to Novak. And yeah, Novak outfield finds Tomáš Veselý. Veselý's going to sling that one across the pitch into the hands of Wojciech. Now here's Kolitsky. Kolitsky looking downfield, finds his pass through the middle to Wojciech. Looking for that around break. Instead, just tries to find the inside. It's a little bit behind. Jan Novak sticks a palm out. In the end, it's going to bounce off his wrist where that red sweatband is. And so the French have a chance to break here, bring this game back on serve.
It was a really good D from French 78, Ludovic Tavo there.
He picks up after the turn. Bruno Calmels is downfield, back for Tavo. Now Ludovic Tavo finds Calmel once more, snags that with a one hand. Guillaume Pla. Underneath to Tavo. There's a player being a little bit poached on the far side. He's going to sprint all the way to this near side instead. The under goes to Calmels. Beautiful raking break back and out into space and a picture perfect layout. Beautiful stuff from the number 10 shooter, Thomas Nicolas.
Yeah, really nice offense point there, or offense following the turn from France. Really calm. They've got getting all their players involved using the full width of the field with the fakes coming over from the far side. Really nice break, and that was a good layout for a score.
Yeah, the pitch on sand narrower than it is on the grass, so really got to do a good job of using all the width you have available, and that time gave a bit of a job for Nicolas to do, but he definitely did it there. And both sides have been relatively stingy with the disc on offense, but when they have turned it over, both sides' D-line offense has been very good.
Yeah, we've only seen 2 mistakes so far, and both of them have been punished. I think that all came, like I said, in the middle of the point. We had a really good defense from Ludovic Tavo on the Czech's key guy. He was struggling to get free, and when he did get the disc, the only option available to him was a really tough inside break. So that all comes from the D from the French there.
So there's the pull from the French. Just about stops on the hop from Stecker. Cut develops underneath. Bid is a bit late from Conway, out of position. Bushka centers into the middle. Here's Medek. Down on the far side now is Fensel. Looking underneath. Takes that. Oyo to Kubek. Looking for a little lead pass. Well, this is going to sit and flow. Can't quite milk it into the end zone. Thinks about the dish to the front cone, and the defender overcommits, and it leaves Ludek Stecker, middle, wide open. And the Czechs restore the draw at 3-all.
Really nice composure on the front of the end zone there. I think Cyril Gano, the French defender, is one of their top defenders. When they played Sweden earlier in the tournament, he was the guy who was marking Sebastian Sperong, Sweden's talisman. Did a really, really good job. He's very athletic, throws himself at everything, and I think faking him out, making him overplay that, just going back in behind him. Very smart play from the Czechs there.
Yeah, in the end zone where the windows are smaller, you don't need quite as much separation, and that time just got the defender committed in one direction, only has to make that little plant to the other side to create the space needed for the pop in for the goal. So
haven't seen any exotic defences yet, all person D. Do you think with this wind we might see any zone anytime soon?
It's picking up a little bit. I don't think it's quite ready for the zone just yet, and for the first time I've seen all tournament we've got an offside call from the French. The Czechs are a little bit too keen to get going from that pull, and yeah, it's the first one I've seen all tournament.
It's the second one I've seen, and the other one was another French team. It was the French Mix Masters called one earlier in the tournament, so perhaps the French are particularly hot on the offsides.
Well, just trying not to make sure that their opponents can't smuggle any slightly illegal advantage over them, and I think a lot of teams end up being ever so slightly offside off the pull, and it's generally not called, but when you're pulling or receiving the pull every point, it does annoy me how few teams really drill that pull structure properly.
Clearly the call's worked out for them because the Czechs have bricked it, threw it out the back of the end zone.
Yeah, just a touch too far. The wind picking up a little bit, and it continues to sail that out of the end zone. Now Stephen Cochonnet picks up for the French. On the mark here is number 8, Jakub Kopriva. Cochonnet picks up. First cut comes underneath from Hervé. Hervé finds Cochonnet. Now it's Galmels. Oh, I'm not sure what happened there. I think Julien Hervé left it for another player. There wasn't anyone there. Now, break chance for the Czech Republic, just about reeled in. Using all of his length is Jiří Sedla. Resetting it around the back now. Underneath on this near side. Lukáš Karasek. Looking around, just about squeaks that one through. Is Bushka, tries to put it through. Oh, it got a tip on it, but it wasn't enough to deflect it out of the path of number 17, Jiří Sedla. And the Czechs break back once more. Anytime there's been a turn, it's been punished. It's now 4-3.
That was very, very fortunate, I think. The French player getting a heavy hand on it, but it just carries on. Good concentration to pluck it out of the air when it's been tipped.
One of our broadcast colleagues, Rahel Toshneva, popping up to the broadcast booth to watch the game, cheering on her compatriots. You'll be able to hear her commentary later in the day. Obviously very excited to watch her country try and bring home a medal.
I think she wants my spot.
I mean, I can't really say I blame her. We do say this quite a lot, but it is the best seat in the house up here on our little commentary box.
I'm very unsure, Benji. It's precarious. I'll describe it as precarious.
Hey, we've done the health and safety checks. It doesn't matter what the result of those is. The point is that we did them.
They happened.
I think so. Here's Tavo for the French. Pick called downfield. Nice loud call there, and good use of hand signals as well. This is going to stay in the hands of Ludovic Tavo.
From what I've seen, the hand signals have been widespread at this tournament and been largely well used.
Does make things easier for everyone on the field to know what's going on, with the added benefit of people in the stands and us up here on the box working out what's going on as well. Nice little bit of flow there. Just playing it down, using the width of the field. Pla looking at the end zone. Cutters go to the same space. This is going to be a little bit clustered. There's a pick called downfield. Thomas Nicolas just lost his man a little bit unfairly.
Yeah, and the good spirit from the Czechs there. The defender realizes that he would not have been able to get there. It didn't make a difference on the call didn't make a difference on the play, so it sticks with the handler there.
The French look on that inside backhand to start, and you can see creating that separation nice and easy. The defender gives up, he knows he's beaten. Théophile Baudin gets his second goal of the game, tied back up at 4 apiece. Very high quality offense from both of these sides, Sean.
It really is, and I think the key thing with both of them is they're playing good beach in that they're not letting it stick very often. They're moving with the flow, a couple of seconds, move the disc, try and exploit the entire width of the field. That makes a really, really big difference because defensively it's so difficult to take things away on this sand when you can't move as you would be able to on grass. Both teams are doing a really, really good job of just making the disc do all the work and challenging the defense to cover as much ground as possible.
Yeah, good decision making is key to playing on the beach. You need to know it when and where the separation is necessary, not necessarily quite the separation that you need on the grass. You need to know when you've got enough and when you just need to put it back in the locker and maybe look around for a different option. Here's Vesely. Underneath cut comes number 24, Kubek. Swings into the centre. Little off target. Vesely with that backwards yellow cap laid out. Couldn't bring the catch in. Here's Urel. Thibaut Urel. Oh, finds an option on the far sideline. Bubbled, but caught at the second attempt by Gleisel. Now is Urel again. Once it's the reset of Cochonnet. Gleisel to Cochonnet. Oh, big bid from Vesely, snatched with that outstretched left hand by Thibaut Urel. Now Gleisel thinks about that strike, cut, lovely, perfectly weighted, got the throw out early enough. Didn't let the defender have a bid, and collecting the score for the French breakers, Stephen Cochonnet, and they retake the lead at 5-4.
We just said about clinical offenses not making many mistakes, slightly off target throw from the Czechs, but the French, very clinical, exactly as we have been for every turnover so far. They've taken advantage of it, pulled this game level again. It's
so rare to see such high quality on the beach. Often there's just a few more mistakes as players adapt to playing on the surface, but any turn's been punished ruthlessly, which is great to see. Now, we talked about how some players you can see on the field. You mentioned that Tomáš Vesely, for example, has got that backwards yellow hat, but you noticed something interesting about the choice of Czech Republic headwear in general at the tournament, didn't you?
Yeah, looking at their team photo from the first day, it looks as though they all have matching trilbies, which I would encourage anybody to go to the live.ebuc2019.org website, search the Czech men's masters team, and look at those hats. I think we have seen some questionable sartorial choices at this tournament. I can see there's one French player wearing a cycling cap. I'm not 100% sure what a cycling cap is doing for you. Sorry, a Czech player wearing a cycling cap with a very small peak. However,
aerodynamics?
Possibly aerodynamics. It doesn't look like he's got long hair either that we keep out of his face, so I'm not sure what it's for, but the trilbies, I'm fully on board with trilbies.
Yeah, matching powder blue trim is very fetching, and as you mentioned, if you want to see team photos and all of that stuff, you can pick a team and look at all of their results and their stats. The way to do that is to go on, as you mentioned, the live website, live.ebuc2019.org. The pull from the French was not particularly good, tried to get the blade, but it went out of bounds early, never came back in, and this is going to march it all the way up. Already in the red zone, the Czechs to begin this possession. Udek Stecker takes a reset, getting it off that sideline to begin the possession. That throws a bit low, but stays up off the sand. Here's Bushka. Andre Bushka trying to isolate the reset, just about leads him into the space. Stecker with the upline, bid comes. Oh, now there's no one on the force, but he can't quite punish it. There's an around there. Oh, it's going to be a little bit behind. There's a chance for a bid, making the play and not just quite keeping his feet in bounds, apparently, according to the French side.
Looks like he's giving it up early as well.
Yeah, number 9, Franciszek Fensel. You can see there his foot's already on the tape by the time he's catching that.
That was a very messy offense from the Czechs. You had 2 people in front of the disc almost every point. It was difficult to find any space, and when they finally got that throw a little bit behind the receiver, it was a great bid from Fensel to even get there.
And it's interesting because conventional wisdom is the closer you get to the end zone, the easier it should be to score. But often because it's just congested and there's so little space there, it can be difficult to get your offense going. There's no longer the threat of the deep option, for example. So some teams you're interested to see when they start that they intentionally work backwards to give themselves more space to then attack. And that time they just didn't have their end zone offense set properly at all. And now the French can have a chance for another break here. Gonna try and get it all in one go. He's not gonna get it, but he's gonna get most of it with that throw to Olivier. Dishes it to Conway. Conway looking at the end zone. Takes that reset around into the middle, and there's a stoppage. Foul called.
Looks as though the Czech player's called something with the this French player potentially kicking sand back at him.
It is always a risk on the beach. That sand gets everywhere. It gets into places you didn't even know were places. I'm still finding sand from my first ever Paganello, and that was 7 years ago. Just, it's unbelievable where it goes. Like, things that have never even gone on holiday with you, you'll find with sand in them.
You need to wash your shorts more often, Benji.
Even the shorts I didn't take on holiday still get sand in them. It's unbelievable.
That's a new rule for this year, isn't it? The sand foul. It was introduced relatively recently that kicking sand in someone's face is now a foul, whether it is intentional or not. You would hope it'd be unintentional, but
it's like almost a classic Wacky Races Dick Starsidley style scheme, that, isn't it? To kick sand in the eyes, and obviously you trust that players will be well spirited and not do that. Olivier dishes it backwards. The Czechs doing a very good job of just forcing the French offense to lose yards here. All they've had really are dumps and swings, and once again just losing a couple of meters going back. Tavo finally finds a gainer. Blah looks at the end zone with the blade. That's going to be a pick. Suspiciously open was 15 Bruno Conway.
Yeah, the Czechs are doing a great job here. I think you said it on their offense, that they were struggling because of the short amount of space with this many bodies in a small area on beach where it's difficult to get that explosive movement. Finding any space in the end zone can be very, very tough if the defense is really dialed in.
And they're going to begin it, raking it around. Czech defenders look frustrated, nothing they can do. And I think for the first time in this game, we've got a side with a 2-point lead as the French go up 6-4.
Yeah, I think, does that count as a commentator's curse? Same as they're struggling to find space and then a first pass goal? Potentially, but...
it's like the reverse comment, it's like the reverse jinx, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, but I have to say the French offense there, as you said, going back, trying to find space, struggling to get any gainers, and that pop off to the break side, it works so well because it's very difficult to get up and attack that disc when it's further away from you, as the Czech defenders found out there.
So a timeout called by the Czech Republic, not a surprise, giving up a few points on the spin. They're definitely a chance to get their heads reset. And what do you do in a timeout like this where you were looking so good and all of a sudden you've had these mistakes creep into your game?
The big thing you need to do is talk about or talk to each other and really emphasize, we know we can play that mistake-free offense. We know we can work through their D because we've done it several times before. We just need to take a moment, compose ourselves, calm down slightly, and get our heads back into the game. The big thing they're going to have to concentrate on here is they need a block. Obviously, they're down break at this point, but they've been throwing themselves at things. They've been close to things. The French have been struggling offensively to get any movement. They haven't necessarily been getting the disc back off them over the last few points, but they're close to it. So as far as I can see, there's not that much they need to change other than just really refocusing in on that offense and making sure that they're hitting the marks or hitting the spots they were hitting earlier.
Wise words there from Sean Colford alongside myself, Benjamin Rees, and our statistician Brian Toy up here in the commentary booth for EBUC 2019 right on the Praia da Rocha, Portimao, Portugal. Good opportunity as well to thank our sponsors, VC Ultimate, Discraft as well, both putting a lot of work into the Ultimate community. We're going to see French come out on defense now. Number 78, Ludovic Tavo, has got that now iconic pink disc in his hand. Change made back end of last year, moving to the pink disc on the sand. I really think it does make it easy to spot against the sky and that beautiful golden stand here at the Praia da Rocha. big ball from the French, and too big. Someone definitely had whatever the French equivalent of Weetabix is this morning.
Yeah, too much time in the gym, sending out the back. From both teams, to be fair, we've seen a few pulls that are just a little bit too far.
So Tomáš Veselý is going to pick up for the Czechs a chance to try and cut the deficit in half if they could make this point stick. And this is why pulling is so important, because a couple of meters shy and they're putting them right at the back of the end zone, but now he's just got this free walk, getting his step count up for the day. Czechs looking underneath. Dish goes, nice flow. Veselý has it, looking for a lead pass into the end zone, not quite there. Knows not to milk it, chooses to make the catch comfortably shy of the end zone instead, looking around. French doing a very good job of gumming things up. Veselý has it on the front cone. Now, there's an option at the back, doesn't take it. Oh, flutters the catch. A little bit of too much hot sauce on it, and he just messed it up. Didn't get his hands set properly. Now, Cochonet looks downfield, finds the option. Calmel swings it around to Cochonet. Dump to Tavo. Lovely lead pass for Cochonet. He's got so much time to watch that all the way into his hands. No immediate continuation of flow, though, for the French. You'd like to see them doing a better job of timing cups upfield. Just dishes that little pop. Tavo with a hammer over the top, and the Czechs are going to break for a 7-4 halftime lead.
I think the Czechs look slightly tired out there. The flow off the pull was fantastic. Got all the way to the end zone with some really well-timed, well-placed passes. It looked to me as though there was a couple of options that were half on, half not, that were turned down, trying to look for that perfect option. But the more you look for that perfect option, the more passes you take, the more opportunity you're giving yourself for someone to kind of mistime a catch, which looks like what happened there with Veselý just letting it slip through his hands.
And you see it so often. You look off a good but not necessarily 100% option early on in the stall count, or maybe you see an option that's open but not necessarily in the position you want, and it always comes back to bite you because you end up making a riskier throw later on in the stall. You need to know when, you need to have that internal clock about knowing, okay, how open are they in comparison to where we are in the stall. Think about that ratio going in.
Yeah, there needs to be an acknowledgement that that might be the best look you get. It might be a difficult throw. A couple of those throws would have been reasonably challenging, but it's one of those situations where sometimes you've got to take that shot on if you want to put the point in.
An incredibly clean first half of Ultimate. No point had more than one turnover. Every time an O-line gave the disc, the D-line never gave it back. The French chased down this pull. The Czechs beginning with the disc in their own end zone. Looking downfield now is Medek. Gets this underneath to the tall figure of Andrei Bushka. They're working down this near open side channel. Oh, this looks like a lovely deep, but if he can get the read, nicely done. Well tracked by Medek, drew the French defender towards the disc, then was able to peel away to that backside to make the catch. Nothing Julien Hervé could do. A nice start to the second half for the Czechs. 5-7 the current score.
Great shot deep there from Fenchel. It was a really, really good throw. And as you say, 13, Medek tracked it really well. And in the end, an easy catch because he tailed it away, just put it on the wrong side of the defender. That's the kind of thing that the Czechs need to be getting back to, that clinical offense. Clearly they've got it in their locker, they're capable of it. It's just trying to minimize their mistakes. But the big focus for them for the next few points, for the rest of this game really, is going to be on trying to make inroads on that French offense because they really need to get back into this game.
And just playing offense is so much easier when you can get the disc in motion and in flow. It means that you time the cuts well, the disc doesn't stay very long, and especially with deep shots. It's so difficult to get deep shot from a standing static position because the force is already set up and you can't generate that forward momentum as you can when you've got the disc on the move.
Yeah, it's the most difficult throw in Ultimate. That feet set, getting it along, getting it out in front of your receiver. There's a reason why your best throwers are usually the ones that pick up the static discs because it's the most difficult position to be in. And that last point there for the Czechs, we saw a bit of forward motion, a good thrower, and you can get it out right in front of the receiver for a nice easy score. So
the two players just having a little chuck about with the disc, just making sure that it didn't take too much of a bend as it hit the stands off that brick pull. Galmel finds Geiler into the middle, thinks about that dish off. Now he's going to Burn-up line is Olivier, going to swing it across the end zone. Makes the catch. Is he in bounds? Not quite. Resets his feet. Violation called for a pick downfield. You see, particularly good example of the guns from number 12, Cyril Gano. Those arms out, 90 degrees, the elbows. Signal for a pick called. Gamel will pick this up. Checked in by Bushka. Centered. Continuation. Just again stopping just one bar shy of the end zone, but eventually punch it in past the bidding defender, number 7. Stephen Cochonnet gets his 3rd goal of the game, and 3-point lead restored for the French at 8-5.
The initial flow there up to the end zone was really, really good. We saw some of the Czechs struggling to keep up with their mark going up the line. French had, there was a fake up the line. The thrower fakes it, going to a cutter up the line, leaves a wide open break throw. That is the kind of throw, the kind of thing that can really shred a D very, very quickly, and some nice patience on the end zone line.
So much about end zone cutting is about timing, knowing when you need to move and when you don't, making sure that you don't get 2 cutters going into the same space, and that time just waited and waited and waited for the opportunity. And if you can just catch that defender napping a little bit on their heels, you can create that short burst of separation that you need for the scorer, and you can see that the thrower is pumped.
We've seen it time and time again this week. Once you get that short burst of explosion, you get that slight separation, all you need is a foot. It's very, very difficult for even the best athletes to make that up. We were looking at the men's semi-finals yesterday, and the GB guys getting beaten to the open side and recovering back onto that is almost impossible.
Stecker has it now for the Czech Republic offense. Underneath, attacking the disc nicely is Jaromir Kubek. Continuation downfield now. Olitsky looking for the big shot. This is going to hang and getting underneath it. Winning that height matchup is Thomas Nicola, and going to be a foul call. I think maybe the suspicion of a bump from František Fensel.
I mean, I know the guy's pain here. The taller man winning a battle. He's boxed him out very well. He's tried to slow down, give Nicola a slightly worse play on the disc, but just reaching over the top of him, it makes it very, very difficult as an offensive player to be able to come down with that when there is such a mismatch there.
And this is what you want to do. You want to get that stall set out nice and early. Maybe slow down your run towards the disc, just keep them on that back shoulder and then try and put the jets back on. But obviously it's harder on sand to get that change of pace.
It is, and you're right, you want to just try and throw the defender off as much as you can, try and keep control of the situation. Even if they have to go around you, if they have to slow down themselves, do something to try and make them think a bit more. But Nicola looked like just reached over the top there, but as you say, there must be a bump in the back from Fenchel.
So David Gleisal and Jan Novak are just coming in to help aid the discussion. Obviously, easy for us that the English is the international language of Ultimate, but obviously for teams where it's not their first language, sometimes there can be just sometimes some slight translation problems, and the disc is going to be contested and sent back to the Czech thrower, the number 11 shirt of Marek Helitsky. I think probably this time he might put that in the locker.
No, do it again. Slightly flatter this time.
I mean, that is the pro move, isn't it? Like, I will just do it again. Disc never lies.
Maybe the hammer this time.
Oh, I think the scuba's on here, but then I always think that's on. So, you know, I didn't call for the thumb though, so we'll call that some restraint. Conway checks the disc in. Marek Helitsky is gonna get layout blocked by. Oh, what a play by Tavo! I was slightly lost for words. Petro Medek made that underneath cut, and Ludovic Tavo completely picked his pocket, and now he's going to look deep. It's going to be a nice layout grab, number 99. Once more, a 3rd goal of the game for Théophile Baudin, and another break for the French. Every time there's been a turnover, it's been punished, that time in the most brutal way possible by the French for 9-5.
is that the first block we've seen in this game. Every other turn that I can recall was a throwaway, a slight mistake. That was a really, really good layout bid from Ludovic Tavo to take that disc away, and a good throw deep as well. He really took that point by the scruff of the neck there.
Yeah, often you see people, kind of conventional wisdom is that after you do something really cool and awesome, you should just calm it down a little bit, think about the conservation and the rule of greatness, but Tavo cares not for the conservation of greatness. Big layout D, fantastic put D, bang, another break on the board.
Box office, clearly, that's what he is.
Box office is exactly right. 2 assists this game for Tavo. And the tournament doesn't chart blocks, but that's going to be one.
Very, very nice.
Yeah, not so much taking what you're giving as taking what we're taking.
Definitely.
And use that force coming quite far around to get that inside-out break to start it, and then the advantage of getting those discs out quickly, continuation to the break side, is you can't get that force set in position, and they just floated all the way down that far side channel into the end zone for the break. Not for the break, sorry, for the score.
We saw the deep cut as well. The person who caught the catch, I didn't quite catch who it was, but he beat his mark deep. So he was trying to recover, then beat him under, and then beat him deep again. So he really had the beating of his man there.
Yeah, the triple threat from Martin Resnick, and now French going from right to left on your screen, dishing it off. Now playing it around the back. Kyler opens things up a little bit. Nice dish off after the catch from Gleisal. And almost just in the blink of an eye getting it into the end zone. Number 23, Gleisal catching it for the score. This French side is, both sides actually been so good when they get the disc in motion.
It's so difficult to stop when that flow starts. I think the Czech scoring good offense points is obviously important. They need to keep that offense ticking over. Otherwise, there's no chance of getting back into this game. But the most important thing for them at this point is they really have to start making, they have to affect France defensively. They have to take France off their spot. They have to make them take second and third options. They have to make them get slightly higher in the stall count, make people make slightly worse decisions, because at the moment, the French are playing offense reasonably easily. They've taken, what, single figures passes over the last few points, put it in without too many challenges. The Czechs really need to change that, and they need to change it quickly because they've not got very long left.
Yeah, 10-6, the current? It's not even a word. The current scoreline, just over 5 minutes left in this game. Big blading pull from Ludovic Tavo. That one's going to land in bounds. Fielded on the hop by Novak. Looking downfield as Stecker takes a reset instead. Vesely's wide open on this near side. Continuation stops, has to put it back, and now give go in the handler set. Getting it onto that far sideline. Now in the centre to Vesely. Coming underneath, oh, all over that one, slapping it authoritatively to the ground is number 12, Cyril Gano. Second excellent layout block from the French this second half, and instantly taking the timeout, knowing that another break here would almost be the killer blow.
You could see there, as soon as it left the hand, Gano sped up. By the time the disc reached them both, he was clearly in front. Really good block there. He probably could have caught it if he wanted to, but giving the French an opportunity to get a hander on the disc and take a timeout, it's going to be very, very important for them. If they can take this lead here, it becomes even more imposing for the Czechs.
Gano's a very large man, very tall, and he used his long legs to make up that gap behind his defender and the full wingspan to slap that disc to the ground. And so it's part of your job in writing for this tournament. Something that you do at the end of every tournament is you have the prestigious top 5 most desirable shirts. With the party tonight, I'm sure there'll be a lot of people trading until the early hours of the wee morning. What are the particular kits that you've got your eye on?
Well, one of them is in this game, Benji. I think that powder blue kind of check with the red stripe across it. I'm a big fan of it. I like it a lot. That's one of the best kits here, I think. We've also got the Germans with their usual clean aesthetic, with the Germany in black writing with the flag. The Portugal black is a classic. We've also got a nice Ukrainian kit with the anchor style badge, which apparently means freedom. It's a very, very nice addition to the tournament. And I think the red GB kit is also a favourite, but that might be me being something of a homer. So we'll discuss with some people, get some views. But there's some pretty good kits here. A lot of kits that we're seeing recycled from WCBU. The Czech red and blue stripe, full red and blue stripe kit is a nice one. But we did see that at WCBU, and the Russian kit is also a good one.
I'm also always partial to that Dutch orange.
The Dutch orange I like a lot, but they have got the advert for Grass Worlds next year on the fact that to the extent we've seen in this game, it's rare to see the D-line be this successful with the disc.
It doesn't look like D-line offense to me. Traditionally, teams put some of their more, shall we say, expansive players,
impetuous,
yeah, on the D-line, maybe happy to let those shots go up and backing themselves to get it back if it doesn't work, playing a slightly more open-minded style of ultimate. But
I like that we're talking in kind of
euphemisms.
Yeah, euphemisms going around the fact that D-line players are usually a bit more trigger happy. But the French D-line have been sensational so far.
So here is that French D-line. The ball comes from Steven Cochonnet. Finds Petr Medek. Medek underneath. Finds that beautiful silver hair of Kotešovic. Working it down this near channel now is Francesco Fensel. Medek fakes around. Finds Bushka downfield. Foul called on the mark. No contest. Hand got in the cookie jar a little bit there. Just got a little bit too close on the force.
Little bump as he turned around to look upfield.
So just being presented to be checked back in. Czech Republic on the doorstep. Up line cut goes. Choosing not to take it. The force flattens up a bit and allows the around break to go instead. Now here is Kotešovic. Oh, the lefty backhand. The class on that throw from Ondrej Bushka. Those offhand backhands used to be considered risky, but now it's a staple of every great thrower's arsenal and used to devastating effectiveness there.
Definitely, you've got to practice those short-range lefty backhands because they're so much easier to get out than that short-range flick, and also much easier to read for a receiver. I think every player at every level now is adding that short lefty backhand to their repertoire. And we talked earlier about it looked like it was a bit of a turning point when the Czechs got to the end zone, couldn't quite punch it in. They turned down a couple of maybe options. That time they've taken one of their maybe options with that lefty backhand. They're going to hope this is another turning point.
Sometimes you just need that little bit of creativity. Ever so slight IO shape on that one. Beautifully well executed.
We've seen some push passes for scores as well so far this tournament. Like you say, that slight bit of creativity when you get to those short passes is sometimes what you need.
So 11-7 the current scoreline. Time cap pretty much on. If it hasn't gone already, it'll be very soon. Let's see if we can get some confirmation from some of our volunteers. Ball's going to be bricked from Cyril Kaila. He's going to trudge up to the brick mark. Number 8, Jakub Koprova, already in place with the mark. Oh, that might be an overthrow. Lays out. I think he was already out of bounds when he made the catch. And there's the whistle. Time over, so we'll finish this point and one to that. So the French score, it will be a game to 13 anyway. We're going to see if we can get another replay of that catch.
It looks very close. And he's given the call up from the looks of it.
Yeah. My gut instinct was it's the right decision, and good to see that they're happy to accept the Czech word for it. Lovely break into the middle to start things off. Quebec with a lead pass, floats a little bit, well chased down by Bushka. Oh, there was the pop-in available, didn't take it though. Instead dumps off to Vesely. Now running some movement in the handler set. 2 players behind him. Not sure who to go for. Still getting high. Oh, beautiful around backhand. Just about lasers through to the front of the end zone. Number 17, Jiri Sedla for the Czech Republic break. 11-8 the current scoreline, but they're going to need 4 more of those on the bounce if they're to take the game against France.
There was another situation there, wasn't there, where the Czechs turned down what looked like a good throw to the end zone, left themselves in a very, very high stall situation there. I thought that that Sedler had fallen down and missed his opportunity there, but he's hugged it into his chest, welcoming it in like a long-lost friend. So that's one break for the Czechs, but as you say, they're going to need more here. I'm not sure, really, that they were able to affect the French offense as they're going to need to. There was a slight overthrow from the thrower as much as it was Czech pressure forcing that.
Yeah, and the Czech Republic haven't broken since they made it 4-3. And since then, the French O-line has been just devastating. Only turning over twice all game. Once on that first point, the Czechs pounced, and again, as we mentioned, it was tied up 3 apiece. The Czechs broke then, but since then, French haven't turned it over at all. Could finish it here. If this point goes in, they're going to get a decent fielding position here. Tailing out of the near sideline is that pink Discroft disc.
It's been some pretty wayward pulling in this game. We've seen a lot of teams use those bladey pulls because it's much easier to control them and land them in the field. Whereas this game, they've been floating them out and we've had quite a lot go out now.
Yeah, part of that might be the fact that of the risk with these blading pulls that they're very quick and it can give the chance to play the other team the chance to get the disc moving before you can get down there, and especially when you might have a bit more wear and tear in the legs at the end of the week. It's a slightly less desirable option. Here's Nicola, a round break inside, nice high, taking it with the left hand is Gleisel. Wants it back. Instead, Pla looks to the middle. He's going to try and blade it, end it in style. Oh, what a grab to finish the game! And the French wins the bronze medal in style with a spectacular layout catch from David Gleisel.
They're absolutely delighted, aren't they? It's good to see, given that they must have been disappointed to lose the semi. That's a great result to come home with a medal. Nice throw to end it. I suspect he maybe was able to catch it by carrying on running, but you always want to end it in style, don't you?
Yeah, there may have been a little bit of showmanship there from the French, but why not in a perfect position to bring home that bronze medal and a well-earned bit of silverware, or bronzeware even, for the French. The Czech Republic were a tough opponent. They played really well at times, but they just couldn't get the turn on the French O-line.
They couldn't affect the French O. I think the way that the French offense played with that quick movement and backing each other, the receiver we saw, or the throw we saw there to end the game, just back the receiver, put it out into space in front of them, and they're going to go get it. French offense was very, very clinical, but then again, the French D-line offense was very clinical as well. Overall, it was a very clean game, and I think the French richly deserved their victory and their medals.
You see it again on the replay. Platt looks downfield, maybe makes the eyes with Gleisel and gives the nod like, yeah, we're doing this. What a way to end it, and rightly mobbed by his teammates. So the sides go into their huddles. Jubilation for the French, commiseration to the Czech Republic, who fought hard but are going to go home empty-handed. French bronze medal winners in the men's Masters division. Stay tuned to the action here because we've got the men's bronze medal match coming up between Spain and Poland, and then 4 finals coming up this afternoon. The Great Grand Masters, the Grand Masters, and also the Master Women's and Mixed Masters as well. Thank you so much for watching our coverage here from EBUC 2019, the Praia da Rocha, live on Facebook and on the WFDF YouTube page. Thanks for watching. Please do share the streams with your friends, and for our statistician Brian Toy, for our Ulti.tv crew, and for the wonderful Mr. Sean Colfer, I've been Benjamin Rees, and we will see you on the other side.
TV.
Excellent. Right, I think I'm starting to Excellent. Thank you very much for your help. No problem. Thanks for having me. It was fun. See you with the Carefully.